Hi, hello everybody, I'm Justin, this is Koopa. Welcome to Koopa's Corner. And today we're back with another Pokémon TCG Pocket video. I know we don't do these very often, but I said during my last pack opening video I wanted to start doing some more deck videos. I did a couple in the very beginning. Haven't done any deck videos in a while, so I'm doing a deck video. For the first time in a long time, I am doing a deck video, Pokémon TCG Pocket. Now, personally, I didn't want to make a video about the same boring top meta deck that everybody's playing, that you already know what cards are in it, that everybody else has made a video for. I don't like playing those decks, and I don't want to make a video about those decks. So I'm doing a deck that I haven't really seen out there yet. This is Crobat EX, which is one of the best cards in the Wisdom of Sea and Sky. Crobat EX, 1 energy does 70 damage, plus it poisons your opponent. And most people have been playing this with a couple of Nihilego, which boosts poison damage, right? Makes a lot of sense. And that's the one that I've been seeing a lot of. But this is Crobat EX with Arceus EX and Link Crobat, right? Crobat Arceus was one of the better decks in Triumphant Light. I think adding Crobat EX to it gives it some versatility. It allows you to kind of play it in a couple different ways. If you start Zubat, that Crobat EX comes in, starts swinging hard very early, very fast. But if they have Arceus in the beginning, then you can play the Link Crobat so that you can throw damage from your bench. I've also got an Eevee. It's the Find a Friend Eevee to help you draw your cards, and I've got a Sylveon just also to help you draw your cards. If you have an Oricorrio, or you're up against an Oricorrio, right, the non-EX Crobat is really good for that. And yeah, it just allows you to kind of pivot in a couple different directions depending on what you draw. And I like that opposed to having like a one-trick pony kind of deck. So I've been having more fun playing Crobat EX in this deck than I was with just Crobat Nihilego. Now I also have a Golbat in there. So the Golbat and 2 rare candies just give you more opportunities to evolve that Zubat, get that Zubat online. And having 3 different Crobat, right? One of those Crobat is going to be a brick. One of those rare candy or Golbat is going to be a brick. You're not going to be able to play all 3 in each round, but it gives you options. It allows you to do so. Now, originally I had 2 Crobat EX in here just to give you the more likelihood of drawing it and having it in your hand right away. But I thought having 3 cards that were just going to be bricks was just a little too much. So I actually took one of them out, and I've had a little bit more fun this way. I don't typically have trouble drawing at least one of the Crobat. If you can get an Arceus on the bench, then the Link Crobats are throwing some big damage as well. So if you don't pull the EX one, it's not the end of the world, right? A couple Pokeballs to help you draw them. A couple Professors to help you draw. I've got a Sabrina and a Cyrus, because those pretty much go in every deck. I've got an Ilima. In case you start Arceus, you could do a Lyra, you could do a Leaf, right? But Sylveon is basically just there to die, right? Draw your cards and die, or be a bench filler to help boost Arceus' attack. But Sylveon, I don't have Psychic Energy in this deck, so Sylveon's not going to attack, right? Crobat EX is only 1 energy to retreat, and Link Crobat is 0 energy to retreat. So I'm not too worried about getting them out of the active. Whereas Arceus, if Arceus starts off and he's walling for you in the beginning while you set up, Ilima allows you to pull him back to your hand and cleanse that damage, as opposed to just switching him on the bench and still being, you know, possibly Cyrused or something like that later on. So that's why I went with Ilima, but again, that's kind of a flavor of choice. If you guys prefer a Lyra or something like that, go ahead, use it. And I also have a Dark Pendant. Full disclosure, Dark Pendant is probably not the best choice. I think you're probably better off with a Giant Cape, personally, but I was trying to play around with Crobat EX a little bit, and Dark Pendant is one of the newer cards, and I didn't have a lot of the new set in this deck, so I wanted to play around with Dark Pendant just because I think it's fun. It's definitely not the best choice, but it definitely has its moments where it's a lot of fun. So that's why I have a Dark Pendant in there, and just allows me to disrupt my opponent's hand a little bit. But again, you probably want like a giant cape, or if you're going to lean more into the Crobat EX and do a second one like that, then maybe this is the card you get rid of. Or maybe you put up Poison Barb to sort of boost that, get that poison damage going. With the other Crobats, if you have to use one of the other Crobats, you can still get that poison. So a couple different options how to play that one. Yeah, but this is my Crobat Arceus deck. I call it the Dark Knight Rises because, well, during Triumphant Light, I called Crobat Arceus the Dark Knight, and I've revived it. It's the Dark Knight Rises. So here's a couple of matches with this deck, and enjoy. All right, let's jump into a battle here. Let's see how it goes. All right. Opponent found. It's thinking. And we're going second. All right. Well, we're going to start with Zubat. We have a rare candy. And we have our Crobat EX, so that's a really good start for us up against a Magby. This is actually a time we'd probably rather go first. That's the nice thing with Zubat, is sometimes going first is actually better. Whereas like before, in the early days of the game, you almost always wanted to go second. Alright, so they got their Magby, they played their professors. Ho-Oh on the bench, they're going to do a little toasty toss here, get an energy on that Ho-Oh. So they're going to get that online pretty fast. Put our energy on it, play our professors here, just to draw so we get another Pokeball, another rare candy. Alright, Arceus EX. We'll get Arceus on the bench here, because once we have this one energy on Zubat, that's all we need. We can spend the rest of the time putting energy on Arceus. Unfortunately, we can't kill the baby just with Zubat alone, even with the poison damage. If they leave it in, obviously it goes down. They put another energy on Ho-Oh. I think they're probably just going to let it go down. They'll attack here, get that third energy. The Iono, oh no. The Iono is actually really bad for us. We had a really good hand. So there's Eevee, there's non-EX Crobat, Rare Candy, Ilima, and Professors, and they are playing a Celebi. This is Ho-Oh's Celebi deck. Celebi EX came out from Mythical Island, the second set of the game, and I still hate it. It's still probably the worst card. I mean, it is probably my least favorite card to have come out in Pokemon TCG Pocket. And yeah, they let the Magby go down with the poison damage, so that's one. So we only got to kill one of these. They're going to put the Ho-Oh in. Unfortunately, fully energized already. So that's going to be a little rough. We don't have the EX Crobat, but that's okay because we have Arceus on our deck now, so we can still throw that extra 30 damage and still do the 80 damage. We'll put Eevee on the bench. That'll help boost Arceus EX. And if Crobat ends up going down, then we can spare one more point with Eevee. With our other professors, we get Cyrus, we get the other Crobat. So we're going to throw that 30 damage right off. And we'll just do a Darkness Fang here and just cap it off 80 damage. So if they do nothing else, then Ho-Oh's going to go down. And that'll be GG's. Obviously that's not going to happen. They'll probably cape it or heal it. There's the Pokemon Center Lady. Because if they can't leave it in, then they can't get the energy on Celebi, so they need a way to be able to keep it in moments like that. So kind of was expecting something like that. There's 80 damage to us, and 4 energy now on Celebi, which only needs 1 grass, and the coin flips are for any other type of energy. So again, we'll put this Arceus here on the bench. I'd prefer the other Zubat, but this way, if we have to switch into our Arceus EX, we have a full bench. We can do the maximum damage with it. We don't really have a Sabrina or anything to kind of force them to do anything, so we'll just throw some damage on this, get it nice and low, and we can hopefully Cyrus it back in if we need to for the W here, because we do have that Cyrus play sitting in our hand. Obviously they have to retreat this. Yeah, there's the leaf. And this works out really well for us because we can just let Crobat go down. We didn't have to worry about trying to switch it out or worry if it went down. And Arceus now has 2 energy. It'll be ready to go. It doesn't matter really how much energy they get on this Celebi. We should be able to take it down pretty easily. And we can always Cyrus. If missing the 1 from our bench lowers our damage enough that we can't KO the Celebi, we could just Cyrus the Ho-Oh, which we might just do anyway, because that's just probably it's got a lot less energy. It's probably the safer play. So yeah, a lot of coin flips there. Crobat goes down, but it's the non-EX, it's only worth 1. We'll put in our Arceus. And yeah, there's the rare candy. No other Zubat, so yeah, let's just pull in the Ho-Oh. And there we go. That's GG's. So yeah, this deck, I mean, obviously, that time we didn't really get to use the EX, but this deck is really good. Alright, another match. Let's see. Opponent found. Okay, it's thinking. Here we go. And we're going first this time. And we're starting Eevee, because that's what we got. And this is why we did Find a Friend Eevee. We can hopefully draw some of our other cards. This is a match we'd prefer to go second. Up against Lugia, the Crown Rare Lugia. We pulled our Sabrina. Alright, let's do the Pokeball first. Got the Zubat. Alright, now we will Professors, draw a couple more cards. Crobat and Cyrus. And we also have our rare candy in our hand. We'll throw the Dark Pendant on there just because, well, it doesn't do any good if it's not on a dark Pokemon. Okay, we're in pretty good shape. We're gonna need one more turn to pull the Eevee or let the Eevee go down. We're not gonna be able to retreat it because we don't have the energy to do that and get Crobat attacking. So we'll probably just leave Eevee in there. Ho-Oh on the bench. That's just what you'd expect. Thankfully, this buys us a couple turns, but like I said, we need that extra one. It would be so much better if we didn't. We got our Arceus. Get our Arceus on the bench. We'll evolve our Crobat, and again, this is why we have an extra Crobat. The Crobat EX just gets us online that much faster. And we'll find a friend and try to pull something else out. The other Arceus, alright. We're still in pretty good shape. They've got a second Lugia. Their Professors. They got a lot of cards in their hand. Their Pokeball. And let's see, are they going to put someone? Mew EX. Alright. Wasn't expecting a Mew EX. Another Mythical Island EX card. And the Giant Cape. Yep, they are fully planning on just letting this Lugia wall for them. They probably have a leaf or something to get it out next turn. There's the regular Crobat. We're just going to put Arceus down in a sec here. We'll switch the Eevee for the Crobat EX. And we'll just hold off on the Arceus. Maybe we'll draw the other Zubat next turn. We do have the Eevee to eat like a Sabrina play or something like that, so we don't have to put the Arceus down right now. But if we start building one of the Arceus, probably is a good idea to have the other one around. Alright, the potion. Well, it's going to stop us from two-shotting it. The leaf, they're going to retreat it. Ho-Oh's going to come in, swing for 80, and get one of those Lugia online. So, a little scary situation, but I'm not too worried about it yet. It is going to take us a couple turns to power Arceus. But Crobat's going to survive at least one more hit from Ho-Oh. I'd be surprised if they didn't try to power both. Now we'll put that Arceus out there, I think, because if we're going to start to power one of them, we should have the other one around to fill the bench, and it's just as a card to play around. I was trying to give it that one more turn to see if we pull the other Zubat. Alright, poison damage. So yeah, now if they leave Ho-Oh in, Ho-Oh goes down. So it kind of forces them to make a decision here. They could just switch to the other Lugia and take out Crobat completely. And that's what it looks like they're going to do. That's why they, I'm assuming, put the energy on here. But yeah, they can't really afford to let that Ho-Oh go down because they don't have another way to power Lugia. Honestly, I think they probably should have just let it, though. If it was me, I probably just would have let it. I would have swung one more time, gotten an extra set of energy on Lugia so it could attack twice. Because now it can't attack at all. They have to switch Ho-Oh back in. But yeah, again, they can't attack us right now, so I think Arceus is okay just to go chill there. Even though we need one more energy. There's the Zubat, and that's perfect. Because this turn we can't really do much anyway. We get the energy. Let's just pull in the lower damage one just to kind of throw their sort of throw their game plan. Because this one we can KO. The other one I'm not sure we could have KO'd. And so next turn we'll be able to attack, but we'll also get that plus 30 damage from having the non-EX Crobat. It's a beautiful thing about having both. They're going to potion it up. I still don't think that matters. We could have a Guzma in this deck instead of that Dark Pendant. In this meta, with as many tools as there are, I've been putting Guzma in a lot of decks. Alright, the Golbat, we don't need it. We're just going to rare candy and get it online faster. Yeah, and that's gonna do it. So that Cyrus actually might have been a little early, but it slowed them down enough that they couldn't really do anything. And boom, there we go. Got a big old KO. Interesting. I expected them to go potentially Mew, because this card is just going to sit there and take damage. And they're going to have to figure out how to get it out. Right, we're not going to be able to one-shot this, but we do have a Sabrina. So we can switch to either of the other ones. So their only kind of hope would have been to have Sabrina us out of the active there. Alright, we got the first Lugia, now we're going to get the Mew. Just boom boom, back to back, that extra 30 damage. 130 from the Arceus. GG's. So yeah, guys, that's Crobat, Arceus, The Dark Knight Rises. Let me know in the comments what you think of this deck if you're going to try it out. I hope you do. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.